All right. Well, I'll tell you what, it is just about that time. We got about a 30-second countdown. Again, want to ask you to introduce your guest in the chat area. We'll be starting in just a few moments. Definitely welcome everyone on the Zoom. We'll be getting things kicked off in about 15 seconds now. We definitely welcome you all. And we will be starting here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, it is just at that time. So let me go ahead and start off by introducing everyone to our Zoom overview tonight. My name is Corey Muhammad. I'm one of the many millionaire club members with Legal Shield with this company, as well as with this incredible team that we've been blessed to be able to build. And so we're going to be sharing with you who we are, what we do, why so many people are taking a look. And again, want to encourage you to go ahead and introduce your guest in the chat area there. And we'll be getting everything going. So everyone should be able to see the Zoom presentation. You should see a PowerPoint there. So let's go ahead and get things started off again. A little about me when I first took a look at this. How many of us know what it's like to work really hard but find yourself kind of barely getting by, maybe living check to check? That's the situation I was in. Maybe that's not your situation. Maybe you earn plenty, but you just don't have the time. So I was in that situation. My background was working at Bell South. Before that, I worked in retail with Target retail store. My wife's background was IT, and because of this company, because of what we're going to share with you tonight, not only is life just so much more different than it was back then, but the team that we have has been paid literally right over $30 million. That's just our personal team, but the overall greater team we're part of has been paid over 600 million with what you're going to see tonight. But it's not about me, it's about the information. So how many of us agree the world has forever changed? I mean, in this day and time, people want more because we're in a WFA revolution. They want more income, more time, more flexibility. And these uncertain times, it just makes sense to have a backup plan. So the guest is with us tonight. Just ask yourself a question. And that question is, are you working for the right kind of income? Now that's subjective because what's right for some people may not be right for others. But it's really three forms of income. We're going to talk about each one of those three forms. First is linear income. That's where you trade time for money. And that's what I did, for the first, pretty much the first working half of my life, trading time for money. And so I know plenty of people that maybe do Uber, maybe do Lyft, but you got to be in that car to earn an income. When I used to work at Bell South and Target, and at one time unloading and loading trucks, driving a forklift, and just all kind of other different things, but had to be there to earn income. So nothing against that. That's just one form of income. And then there's leveraged income. That's when you're able to, work with a team and build leverage. We're going to talk about that tonight, as well as residual income, doing something one time and keep getting paid in the future for work you did one time. So the great thing about these three forms of income, the great thing about it is that we have all three of those forms, which you're going to hear about tonight. We have literally all three of those forms of income. So Brian Carruthers, the author of a book, Building an Empire, he simply asked a question, or actually made a statement here, and it just makes sense. He says, whoever solves the biggest problems for the most people makes the most money in the world. Think about that for a moment, because I was taught a long time ago that one of the definitions of an entrepreneur is someone that solves problems. And so again, what did he say? Whoever solves the biggest problems. So what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about our company, how it's solving three major problems in North America. Hey, the services that's helping individuals, families, and business owners. And then the compensation, how you can earn linear, leverage, and residual income. And of course, for those that like to travel, there's even trips involved as well. So if you're a guest tonight, just listen to what we're going to share with you. You ask yourself a question: does it make sense as we go through the information we're going to go through? Because I learned a long time ago, if something makes sense to you now, it can absolutely make dollars for you later. All right, so as we rolling through this and kind of sharing with you the information on how all of this works, let's go ahead and go over here and take a look. Have you ever received a speeding ticket before? See, why do I start out like this? Because some people think that having a legal challenge means you're in trouble, going to jail. But you ever received a speeding ticket? What about about writing or revising your will? Hey, whatever, have you ever been treated unfairly and you didn't like the way that made you feel? What about signed a contract or a document and you regretted it later on? What about ever bought a defective product and you had a consumer warranty issue? Now, I didn't read all of these because all of us can read on here, but these are all potential legal situations. These are some of the reasons why what we do exists. And so you've been invited tonight to hear about this company, Legal Shield, and the amazing growth that this company is having and why it makes sense to have the plan. Whether a person gets involved in the business or not, it just makes sense to have the membership. So let's go a little bit more into this. The gentleman you see on the screen, Actually is the founder, started this company. Now he passed away about a decade ago, but this company was born out of an accident. What happened was he got in a car accident, wasn't even his fault, but he got sued as a result of the accident. Now, this was back in 1969, believe it or not. And he had car insurance for the banged up car, life insurance in case he had passed. He had that. He had also had health insurance. And but what he wasn't ready for was when the other person sued him, he had to defend himself, and his legal fees about bankrupted him. So he wanted to know, was there a company, a concept, an idea that can help people have access to the legal system for an affordable price? That's how this company was born, and literally started in 1972. So over 50 years been in business, protecting and empowering 4.5 million lives protected right now. And literally, Legal Shield has a mission that's to build a better world where access to justice is equal. So Forbes, Yahoo Finance, CNBC, Bloomberg, Better Business Bureau, all of them saying favorable things about this company. So we're going to share with you tonight for the guest is with us. And again, just kind of hear what we're going to share with you. We're going to start off talking about our preferred plan. And with our preferred plan, this is how this works. I mean, imagine this. Imagine having an app. You can tap the app when you got a legal question, legal concern. See where it says personal legal advice? All these bullet points are what's called features, but I learned a long time ago that people care about benefits more than they do features. So the benefit is personal legal advice, but or the feature is personal legal advice, but the benefit is next time you got a legal question, legal concern, just want to know what your rights are in any given situation. All you do is you plain and simple, you're able to simply have your information looked at, have it taken care of, have your questions answered. That's what we do as a part of this incredible company, Legal Shield. See, on top of that, we also want to share with you a few other things that we do and how it works and all of that. Think about this. If we go out and we look at document review, before you sign a contract or a document, I mean, Legal Shield's been around. I've had this membership personally for 26 years. So you have your documents reviewed, contracts reviewed. Before you sign them, ask yourself a question. When you get something done, when you do have a contract or a document, doesn't it just make sense to have it looked at first before you sign it? That's a part of the membership. Letters and phone calls on our members' behalf. So if someone treats you unfairly or take advantage of you, see, if your law firm deem it necessary, they'll write a letter or make a phone call to help you resolve that situation. I mean, it's amazing how this works. All right. On top of that, what else do we do and how else do we do it here in the world of Legal Shield? Well, if we look at this legal research, there's a part of the plan that does with that. Life events, wills, living wills, healthcare power of attorney, all of that is a part of the membership. Traffic ticket assistance. You get a speeding ticket. Guess what? Send it into your law firm. And when you send it into your law firm, they go to work. The goal in mind is to help you keep your insurance rates and points off your license. Now, again, I've had this membership for 26 years. And, in my household, in 26 years, we've gotten speed tickets. As a matter of fact, there's been 17 in the last 26 years. And I didn't get them all between spouse, between teenage drivers who are now adults. But what happens is because of this plan, I don't have any driver's license points, no insurance points, none of that because of the power of having a plan like this. It just has been a tremendous benefit. So, how else does the rest of this work? Well, the rest of this works because it allows you to be able to get help when it comes to wills, living wills, healthcare power of attorney. It's a part of the plan, as I mentioned. Civil trial defense. If you get sued, we've got help for you there. If you get audited by the IRS, there's help for you there. And 24 by 7 emergency access. See, legal emergencies, let's say if you're about to be questioned, detained, or arrested. Now everyone is law abiding on the Zoom, I'm sure, but sometimes bad things happen to good people. So what happens in a situation like that? We've got help for you in those type situations. All right, so let's talk about this. What do we mean by legal emergencies? Well, what if you're seriously injured? See, holidays, nights, weekends with the 24 by 7 emergency access, you've got that kind of help. Residential services, loan document review for your primary residence, or if you're a tenant, guess what? Possible review and negotiation of your lease. E services, services there, family domestic services, now uncontested divorce, adoption, separation, name change. All of that's a part of the membership with the waiting period there for this portion. What I want to share with you is what about those major things in life? They don't happen that often to the same person, but they absolutely happen. What happens in a situation like that? Well, in a situation like that, guess what? In those type situations, it allows you to be able to do what? reach your law firm 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays, nights, weekends, the whole 9 yards. So that's part of the plan. So let me ask you a question. Is our guest with us tonight? I mean, think about this. If you were an attorney and if I came to you and I wanted you to be my family law firm, and I wanted you to protect me and I wanted you to protect my spouse, but instead of paying you, 150, $200 an hour, or whatever it is that you charge, instead of doing that, what if I said, well, hey, look, instead of paying you by the hour, I'd rather pay you a flat monthly fee. And these are the things I want you to do. I want you to set up an app so I can tap an app and call you anytime doing business hours. Make sure the questions I ask today, I know what my rights are. On top of that, I'd like for you to have review my contracts and documents. Even on top of that, I'd like for you to be able to, if someone treat me unfairly and you feel like it's necessary as my law firm, write a letter, make a phone call. Oh, by the way, help me with my estate planning, my wills. And if I get a speeding ticket anywhere in the country, want your help. And by the way, have a part of your phone where I can reach you 24 by 7 for legal emergencies. Now, how many of us agree that would be expensive? If you're used to charging $200 an hour, think what you charge a month for that. See, the reason why Legal Shield is growing so much, the reason why a lot of people, when they see the plan, they get this plan and it makes sense to have, is because they do all of that, as you can see on the screen. They do all of that. Pardon me one second. They do all of that for just, pardon me one second. My clicker thing is going a little haywire there, so just hold on one second. They do all of that for $37.95 a month. It's pretty incredible the way that works. That's about $1 a day. Now, this is our preferred plan. So we have a basic plan. It's $29.95. It does a little less and does some less things than what you see. We even have a premium plan that does a little bit more than what you see, but a lot of folks like that, the preferred membership. By the way, we got small business plans, employee benefits plans, commercial truck driver plans. We have all of those. So we ask our members, hey, look, when it comes to Legal Shield, how does your family feel having Legal Shield? And many of them said they felt empowered, smart, protected, peace of mind. They felt privileged. We said, what about your family if you didn't have Legal Shield? For whatever reason, it wasn't around anymore. Many of them said they feel defensive, will feel insecure, will feel taken advantage of, unheard. So this gives you an idea of the power of this plan. Now, what you saw is our preferred family plan for personal matters, family matters. But if you're on a Zoom right now, you're a business owner, you have a business there. We have three different business plans. I won't go a lot in detail because the person that invited you on can share more with you about this. But we have our small business essentials, our small business plus, and our small business pro plans. We have those plans in place too, this to protect a business. So let's talk about the other services we provide, identity theft. And think about this. How many of us, if you've heard of identity theft before, just drop a one in the chat. For everyone that's heard of identity theft, just drop a number one in the chat if you've heard of identity theft and send that. Just drop a number one in the chat. And as you're putting those number ones in the chat, I want to simply share with you the fact of the matter is, guess what? We have quite a few people as you're looking at this that understand identity theft, but they think they understand identity theft, but identity theft really happens in a lot of different areas. And a lot of identity theft is basically we live in a digital society, but with the digital society comes risk. And so we see all kind of data breaches is happening and all kind of things when it comes to data breaches and all of that. And so when it comes to data breaches, here's what happens here. We have the ability for you to be able to make sure you're protecting your full digital DNA. And how do you protect your full digital DNA? The way it works is criminals really don't want your money, they want your identity. And so what happens when you have identity theft protection and knowing the different common types of identity theft? Well, what are those common types of identity theft? Well, there is identity theft when it comes to tax returns and medical identity theft. And on top of tax returns and medical identity theft, guess what else? There's also Social Security identity theft. There's credit card identity theft. I mean, driver's license. There's so many different types of identity theft because some people think, well, I shred everything or I don't plan on doing anything. See, our information is in other people's database, and criminals know how to get that information out. So with ID Shield is an app that we have, another app. And the way this app works is, first of all, they're going to monitor the dark web. Why is that important? Because the dark web, unfortunately, is where a lot of bad things happen. It happens where? On the dark web. All right. So what happens is when you look at this right here, we want to share with you the rest of what the way this works. They're going to monitor the dark web. All those different areas you see right there, they're going to monitor it with full identity theft protection. VPN, which is virtual privacy network. I mean, so when we're attaching the Wi-Fi networks, you have the ability now to be able to have the VPN. Some people go out and pay for them, but because we partner with Trend Micro, you get a VPN as a part of the plan. Licensed investigators. I mean, you got some questions, want to know how to best protect your identity? Talk to the Legal Shield's licensed investigators with ID Shield Network. Privacy management. You know what? Our information is in so many people's database. How do I get my information removed from some of those databases? Guess what? That's where privacy management comes in as a part of this plan. And then social media reputation management. Hey, look, with this right here, this is going to make sure you're protecting yourself when it comes to social media so that your best foot is forward. A lot of employers, people like that, like to look at your social media. And so we have a part of this plan where they'll let you know if something's potentially reputation damaging. It's up to you whether or not you want to keep it up. But anyway, that part of the plan is there, as well as sex offender notifications. But what really differentiates this plan is the full service restoration, which means when identity theft occurs, licensed private investigators go to work as long as it takes to restore your identity back to pre-theft status. Oh, by the way, they throw in a $3 million fraud protection. And so this is why Forbes looked at all the plans out there. Many of us heard of Forbes before. They looked at all the plans out there and they said, out of all the plans out there, guess what? They said that ID Shield, they call that the best of 2024. Cybersecurity gave it an excellent award. So for an individual plan, it's $19.95 a month, for an individual. And then on top of that, for a family plan for ID Shield, family plan, then what is that? It's $34.95 a month for that plan. All right. So again, this is in addition to the Legal Shield membership. So you have Legal Shield, you can have ID Shield. Some people get both plans, some only get one of the plans. It just makes sense to have them both. By the way, we don't hold anybody contract hostage. It's a month-to-month plan. So we just want to make sure everyone realizes how it works. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll on over to Member Perks. So with Member Perks, you're going to be able to save on a lot of the things you already do anyway. And some of the things you already do anyway, whether you go to the movies, whether you go to Sam's Club. I mean, it's over 100 plus vendors as a part of Member Perks. My wife and I, every single month before we do things, we like to go to Member Perks just to see what kind of discounts we can get. And we get those discounts quite often when it comes to Member Perks. So, hey, look, if you're on the Zoom tonight and you use Member Perks and you know how important it is to have Member Perks, go ahead and just drop something in the chat right there that shows you all the information you want to know about with Member Perks. Just put a number one if you've used Member Perks, or if you have others on your team that you know you use Member Perks, just drop a number one in the chat. We could do stories all night about different folks that use Member Perks and how that works. All right, so let's go ahead on. So as we talked about this, first we talked about the company and the credibility of the company, and then we talked about the services, two plans, Legal Shield, Identity Shield. I mean, at our company, we've had from attorneys general speaking about the incredible benefit that's being offered to governors of different states that we've been in, that talks about the value of having this plan. It's a reason why Forbes also looked at all the legal plans out there, and most of them is not really in competition. Most any other legal plans happen in the employee benefit space, and they name this the best class protection. So the good thing about this is we go through this, it kind of puts you an idea of how you can be able to learn and earn at the same time. So ask yourself a question. Is this an idea worth sharing? And so for all of our guests that's on the Zoom tonight, ask yourself a question. Is this an idea worth sharing? See, whenever you're the best, you're going to have people like, ignorant folks that's in the chat room that's going to do ignorant things. When you got professionals like myself and others that do this and been doing it, it doesn't even, we just keep it moving. All right. So all the guests is taking a look at this. Refer a friend. Is this something you want to refer to other people? Is this something you want to refer to other people? If the service makes sense to you, just drop a number two in the chat. So far, if Legal Shield protection, ID Shield protection, having these apps makes sense, put a number two in the chat if it makes sense to you there. And then you'll see why we have over 4.5 million customers and counting, because the service itself just makes sense to have. So let's go a little bit more into the compensation and how this works. First of all, with the wheel of opportunity, how does this wheel of opportunity work? And what is this wheel of opportunity about? And how does it work and all of that good stuff? Well, many of you tonight, you heard me talk about Legal Shield. But guess what? We have a part of our division of our company that deals with small businesses in case you want to protect small businesses. We also have a part of our plan that deals with employee group benefit marketing. What is employee group benefits? That's where you can go out and offer this as an employee benefit. We have that happening all the time. All right, we got plenty of folks that go out and offer this as an employee benefit and able to earn incredible money doing just that. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this. What about commercial truck driving? And commercial truck drivers, we've got that as a part of the plan there. We protect many truck drivers with our CDLP plan. So maybe that's your background. Maybe you got a transportation background. How about add-ons to the legal plan? We've got a owner supplement. On top of that, with the legal plan, we also have ride share supplement for those that do Uber, Lyft, things like that. Also have a concealed carry, as I mentioned, gun owners, but then there's also the home business that helps with home business as well. We call a home business add-on. And then, of course, ID Shield. So there's opportunities within the opportunity. So let's talk about our compensation. The last few moments of this Zoom tonight, over the next about 8 minutes or so, we're going to talk about the compensation. And the way this works is four different ways we get compensated. When you go out and enroll someone personally, you can earn from $80 to over $400 every single time we enroll someone. The second way is leveraged income, which means you can build a team. And as you build a team, guess what? You can earn money for what you do as well as what others do. And then there's residual income. Residual income means we can do something one time. See, when in legal shit, we get paid, imagine we get paid 1 year up front. So what happens the second year, third year, fifth year, 10th year? We start able to earning percent of what you earned the first time around, you're able to earn that for the lifetime of that membership, which is ongoing residual income. We're going to talk more about that in just a moment. And then, of course, there's some bonuses in place. So as you see these different backgrounds, real estate, retail, students, business background, the pictures are great, but I wanted us to look at the backgrounds because you don't have to have any kind of special background to be involved with this company. We got all kind of folks with different backgrounds, from stock boys and stock girls to stock brokers, from GEDs to PhDs. We got it all here in the world of Legal Shield. So the proven track record. Some of you on the Zoom tonight may be looking at, well, man, if I could just earn an extra $500 to $1,000 a month, that'll make all the difference in the world. Well, then there's others on the Zoom tonight. They may be simply saying to themselves, well, look, I don't want to just earn 500 to 1,000 a month. I would like to earn a whole lot more than that. And so, just to give you an idea of what's possible, we've got over 300 millionaire club members. My wife and I are proud to be part of that number. Over 400 six-figure earners, over 30,000 people earning some form of residual income, and then over $1 billion in commissions paid in the last 8 years as a result of this company. So let's talk about the compensation plan and how the compensation plan works. Now, stay with me because there's a lot of numbers, but if you stay with me, you won't get lost anywhere in here. First, we're going to show you the compensation plan based on the $37.95 preferred legal plan and the $34.95 ID Shield. So if you add those two together right there, $37.95 preferred legal plan, $34.95 family ID Shield, that's about $72.90. Now, some people may not get both plans. Some people only get one plan. So let's say if a person only got one plan, the numbers are going to be smaller than what you see. But we're going to give the compensation based on someone getting both of those plans. So if you look at the purple category, starting with your level. So your level, everyone that starts at the associate level. So at the associate level, you go out and enroll someone in this preferred legal plan and family ID Shield. Guess what? You earn $80. Not bad for about a 10-minute presentation. Doesn't matter where they live. They can be anywhere in the country, United States or Canada. You're able to build your business. When you get your first raise as senior associate, how do you get a raise? Well, just have 3 customers, introduce one person to the business. Now you earn $100 every single time you enroll someone in this plan. So I want you to think about something, because when I was a single dad and I went out and I wanted to, let's say, get my son a bicycle, I know I will do 2 memberships. At that time, if I wanted to do rent, I know I needed about 5 or 6 memberships. So you can then have the money from your job doing something for you somewhere else while you're building a great extra part-time income here in the world of Legal Shield. All right. And so the way this works is you're able to continue to earn money in the future for work you did one time in the past. All right. So let's go ahead and show you the rest of how this works. The way you move up and you become a manager, now you earn 132, and then senior manager 178, and then director, and all the way to past executive director, you continue to earn by protecting someone with the membership. The second one we get compensated is simply team overrides. With team overrides, what overrides means is now you get paid for what you do, but for what others do. So the way this works right here, let's just say you happen to be at the senior associate level, because that's where overrides start. And by the way, in our company, overrides is what's referred to as leveraged income. So let's just say if you are at the senior associate, you happen to know me and I'm at the associate level. I go out and I enroll someone. I make $80 every single time I enroll someone. But because you introduced me to the business, whether you were with me or not, but you introduced me to it and you're a senior associate, we have a differential compensation plan. So the difference in 180 is a $20 override. So for everyone that I enroll, guess what? You're going to make a $20 override. That don't sound like a lot with 20, but imagine if you got three people, three of us, we go out and we protect 10 families, 10 times 20 is $200. Not bad in leveraged income. But let me just share with you how this works with managers. See, with manager, what happens is when you're a manager, now you're not only going to get paid for what you do, but let's just say you're a manager and I happen to be at the associate level. You introduce me to the business. I'll go out now and roll. So when I make 80, I'm pretty excited. But the difference in 132 and 80 is a $52 override. See, everyone, the thing I like about the overrides is, no, we're not making money off people, we make money with. Because in this business, the only time you ever make any override income is if you help someone else make personal income. So it's a win win situation. But it's actually a win 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 situation because the biggest winner is the person that now has access to the legal system. See, if I didn't earn a dime, if I never earned any money in Legal Shield, I still would have the service if they didn't pay me a dime because the service just makes sense to have. I'd have the identity shield because it just makes sense to have. So, ignorant folks do ignorant things, but it makes sense to have the service. All right, so let's go over to executive director. As an executive director, let's just say you're an executive director and you happen to introduce me, I'm at the associate level. I go out and I enroll someone. I'm excited I made 80, but the difference in executive director pay and associate pay 416. 80 from 416 is all these numbers added together. So remember, we get paid a few different ways personally, by building a team, and then there's bonuses. You get your first promotion in 20 days or less, guess what? You're in a $200 bonus. Now, you also attend a class. We got them virtually. We also have online classes in many different cities. Pardon me, in person classes. So you go to an in person class, instead of a $200 bonus, once you get your first promotion, you get a $400 bonus. All right. And on top of that, when you get your second promotion, we call manager, you're able to earn an additional $500 bonus. So we've got quite a few different bonuses on the table to help you be able to earn some great extra income. All right, so again, I'm going to touch on this. You heard me talk earlier about the small business plans. When we go protect people with small business plans, in addition to the legal plan, you can see the income adds up to be a whole lot more there because now you can earn anywhere from $80 all the way up to over $1,000 when we're marketing the legal plans and the small business plans. All right, so that kind of gives you an idea of how that works. By the way, we get paid daily, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, daily direct deposits. So let me just show you how this works. The power of part-time. Protecting 4 families a month, which is one a week. Protect one family a week. Guess what? You can earn anywhere from $320 to over $2,000 you're able to earn just by protecting 4 families a month. But if you teach 25 teammates to do the same, now we're talking about leverage. So imagine if you had 25 teammates and you built a team. That doesn't happen overnight, but you built a team. Although we got a lot of folks doing things like that pretty quick now. And imagine they did that for 12 months straight. That means you would have earned over $120,000 in leveraged income. See, when I had my first 5-figure month, it was because of something like this, being able to put the principle of leverage to work. Keep in mind, this is an employee benefit. We offer this as an employee benefit. I offer this to small businesses. So many different ways that people are leveraging the Legal Shield membership. So if you think that compensation plan is pretty powerful, what you heard so far, again, just drop a number 1 in the chat if you think what you've heard is pretty powerful so far in terms of the compensation plan and how we get paid. All right. So let's go and take a look at this. Performance Club. Well, there's trips. If you like trips, imagine earning all expense paid vacations. We got those. But we also have extra bonuses you can earn by being a part of Performance Club. Again, I won't go into that a lot here, but it's just extra money. It's not taken away from what we've already talked about. It's in addition to, not in place of. All right. So let's look at this as we wrap this up. So, what does it take to become an associate in the world of Legal Shield? Well, first, let's look at the benefits. Start part time. You don't have to quit what you're doing right now, unless you don't like what you're doing right now, but start part time. Work from anywhere. We have a mobile business. It's a willable book of business, meaning that what you do, you can also will it to your children and your children's children, will it to 2 generations. You can will this book of business. Residual income for the lifetime of the membership. See, the person that signed me up for Legal Shield, I've had the membership 26 years. And again, if I didn't earn a dime, I still would have the Legal Shield membership. But the person that signed me up 26 years ago, I haven't seen him. I ain't seen him in years. But guess what? Every single month, when I pay for my Legal Shield membership, they earn a percentage from something they did 26 years ago. It's pretty powerful when you think about how this compensation plan works. All right, but let's go a little bit further right here. So on top of that, there's training classes in person as well as virtual training classes. That's there, ongoing weekly training, mentorship. You start this business for two twenties or five and four ones. That's $49 investment. That's what it is to start your Legal Shield business. It's a $49 investment. I mean, I could just say, in terms of finances, life has been so different because of a membership in a company like this. Now, it's not a lottery, it's not a get rich quick scheme, but you can earn some great money part time. You can definitely build wealth depending on what your level of commitment and what your goals are and what it is that you're looking to do and striving to do and all of that kind of good stuff there. All right. So, last thing we'll share with you is, well, is there any overhead? Yes, we've got what we call Legal Shield Advantage. And Legal Shield Advantage Plus is really allows you to be able to have your website so that you can enroll people all over different parts of the country. An incredible app that lets you be able to help you build your business so that it's a mobile business. It's really like a CRM, a customer relation management tool. It's called Prospect by Legal Shield. Your commissions, your reports, your trainings, all this is in your back office, plus great incentives. So Legal Shield Advantage is $24.95 a month. First month is no cost. And by the way, it's a tax write-off. You can write that off. So ask yourself a question: $49 investment. Our goal is to show you how to be able to earn that $49 investment many times over. As a matter of fact, once you get your first promotion and Fast Start qualify, you know, by Fast Start qualifying and earning a $400 bonus plus the sales that's made, you've already made over 10 times your initial investment when you Fast Start qualify and attend Fast Start training class. Pretty incredible the way that works. All right. So again, start today, become a member. Some of you may be saying, well, hey, look, the membership sounds great. I mean, we're talking about a decision. It's basically a 37.95 decision for the membership. Get the ID Shield as well, or if you just got one of them. Anyway, that's it. If you have a business, we want to help you protect your business. So become a member. But then some of you are saying, well, hey, look, I don't want to just become a member. I like to be able to not only know what my rights are, be protected, but I want to earn some extra money part-time in my spare time. Then become an associate. One time $49 investment. That's right, one time $49 investment. And position yourself to be able to earn some great income. We've got the mentorship, we've got the system, and all you got to do is plug in to what is already here. Timing as we wrap this up: life, auto, and health. Those are three divisions of the insurance industry. Now, this isn't insurance, it's similar, but not insurance. But they're all multiple billions of dollars in market share. Legal, right now we have less than 5% market penetration. Yes, 4.5 million people that have a plan, but guess what? It's over 350 million people in the country, with over 150 plus million of them being adults. And so there's still a huge amount of opportunity, and as more and more people hear about it, pardon me, it continues to grow, and so much more commissions are going to be paid out by having and offering something that makes sense to have. So number one, hey, it takes 3 minutes to enroll, become a member. And number two, if you like the opportunity, become an associate. If you become an associate, we want to show you how to get paid and promoted. So what will you be doing, you wonder? Inviting people to take a look at Zooms, take a look at a video, have someone that you're working with be able to answer questions they may have. That's what we do. We invite people to take a look at the information. So tomorrow evening, we happen to have a presentation like this, except one of my good friends is going to be hosting it tomorrow evening, one of our top earners, and it's going to be at 7 o'clock Eastern, not 8, but 7 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. You can get started and leverage the system and invite people on. We teach you, train you, and show you how to do that and start working on building your great part-time business. So we definitely want to thank everyone that joined us tonight. And hey, we're looking forward to working with all that are looking forward to working with us. And the person that invited you on, they're going to reach back out to you right when this is over with. Okay, when they reach back out to you, they just want to find out if you like what you heard, and then they will be able to assist you from there. So thank you all for being on. Have a fantastic evening. And again, looking forward to working with everyone that's looking forward to working with us. Take care.